Welcome back to another episode of the Revolutionary Girl Utena. So in the previous one, we had a duel between Utena and Shiori, who is the past crush, I guess, or even present crush of Juri, right? So she transferred to this school now, and obviously Juri was going through a lot because of that, right? She was reminded of a lot of her feelings and also confronted by Shiori herself, and Juri wanted to get rid of those feelings and cast them away. She cast away the entire necklace that she had, but eventually it came back by, well, Shiori bringing it back. But yeah, kind of like a reminder that she couldn't let go of those feelings yet. She can't do it yet. So yeah, her feelings came back, and Shiori also got defeated. It wasn't really a tough battle for Utena. It was kind of like just a one hit KO. But yeah, it was a fantastic episode with a lot of the symbolism with the rose, and the rose, the more beautiful the rose is, the more dangerous its thorns and stuff like that. Really cool stuff. But let's see what this episode's gonna be all about. Is it gonna be another duel? Is it gonna be a different kind of episodes? Let's find out. So if you wanna watch this, uncut blur is always on my Patreon in the description, and let's go into the Revolutionary Girl Utena episode 18. Here we go. Yep. Mitsuru's impatience. Mitsuru? Ah, Tsuwabuki is Mitsuru. Mari. Also, is the entire taking out the sword, by the way, I'm recording this episode right after the previous one, so I haven't read the comments on it yet, so maybe someone has already said it in the previous episode, but is the taking out the sword some kind of like euphemism for anything? Because the way that they're talking about it seems like they're all really shy about it. So is it a euphemism that I'm missing? Because I'm kind of like taking it kind of like it's just them taking, taking the other person's power as motivation in a way. I didn't really think of it as any kind of like, I don't know, sexual euphemism or anything along those lines, because it seems like they're very embarrassed talking about it, being like, oh, did it hurt? Or is it just Nanami kind of like being a bit of a troll and phrasing it in a way that makes it kind of like, a bit more sexual than it should be? Yeah, I mean, you were calling for that one.
だよあいつ。今の誰？誰でもないです。誰でも。つわぶきってさ、友達とかいないの？友達？いつも中等部の校舎に来てるでしょ？ご迷惑ですか？そんなこと言ってないでしょ？可愛くないわね。子供のくせに。僕は、ななみさんのそばにいた方が楽しいですから。さっきの子、可愛かったわね。どこがですか、あんなやつ。幼馴染です、ただの。何これ、パーティーでもするの？触るなよ。これは明日のななみさんのお弁当なんだから。これ全部？おかしいか。わかってないわね。おい、人が買ってきたものを勝手に食べるなよ。いくら尽くしたって美味しいとこだけ食べられて逃げられちゃうんだから。なんだよそれ。女の勘。あいつはそういう毒蜘蛛みたいにいやらしく周りからじわじわ取り込んでいくのよね。お
Damn.
前にはななみさんの良さはわからないよ。わかるもん。女の勘よ。あいつはそういう毒蜘蛛みたいな女よ。食べてもらえるんだったら僕は本望だけど。いやらしい。
I knew it.
大人になればわかるわよ。
I knew it.
おいこれ、いいよ食べて。大人がチョコ食うかよ。関節キスじゃん。
Oh. It feels like they kind of have like a bit of a crush on one another. Obviously, neither of them kind of like wanting to confess it. I don't even think Tsuwabuki himself realizes it, but I feel like the way that he's acting kind of feels like it.
好きな竜田揚げとアスパラのベーコン。何？つわぶき。あ、お食事は今日はいいわ。この人、2ヶ月ゼミの方。こんにちは。
Uh-oh.
本当に嬉しいわ。ゼミに誘ってくだ
Oh
さって。
no.
こちらこそアタックした甲斐があったよ。私なんかでお役に立てるようでしたら。じゃあ軽く食事でもしながら詳しい話をしましょうか。はい。よかったら君も今度ゼミに遊びに来るといい。いいんですよ。つわぶきはまだ子供なんだから。いいです。あれ、つわぶきくん、どうしたの？なんか難しい本並べて。ウテナさん、大人になるってどういうことですか？どうって。いや、まあいろいろあると思うけど、いろいろ経験することが大人になるってことじゃないかな。いろいろ経験すれば大人になれるんですか？多分、ウテナさんはいろいろしたんですか？
Put on the spot.
私たちくらいになればいろいろ大人ですよね。ウテナさんも。そうなの？はい。王子様を夢見ているのってやっぱり変ですか？いや、後輩に聞かれちゃったもんで、大人か子供かって。僕は一体どっちかなって。自分ではどう？わかりません。それ以前に僕は大人と子供がどう違うのか分かってないのかも。
I don't think anyone does, Utena.
理事長は今が一番輝いているんじゃないですか？綺麗なお嫁さんをもらって。そうだね。
Interesting. Interesting. You know, I find it interesting how basically, like, even Utena is like, she's what, like 14 or something? Which is like the peak, I guess, age when you're like, what am I? The peak confusion age, right? Like peak of like puberty and all those things. So it kind of makes sense. And then Tsuwabuki is like, I don't know how old he is. He's like 10. He's just a kid and it's like, what is an adult? And then you have the other girl whose name shoot, I forgot. But Tsuwabuki's friend, who's like 1 year older, so she's starting to get that age where she's also starting to, you know, think about those things. It's cute. It's really well done. The ages are really interesting. The stages of kids, I guess. Kids, teenagers. Hmm. No! No, my boy! Is it Tsuwabuki? Yeah, he's studying it. What does it mean to be an adult? It doesn't necessarily have to do with romance or anything like that, but this is peak like kid thought.
キスシーン100万回見たやつより本物のキス一回したやつの方が大人に決まってんじゃない。本物一回。ああ、もう嫌になっちゃうわね。あんた頭悪くないのに、やっぱ使い方が変だわ。実践ってやつよね。そんなこともわかんないなんてね。
Oh. Yeah, you deserve that. You deserve that, Tsuwabuki. um.
私たちくらいになればいろいろ大人ですよね、ウテナ様。
Yeah, like paying taxes. That shit ages you like 20 years instantly.
ナナミさん、視聴覚室で何してたの？どうして？見たのよ。女の子と一緒にいたところ。あれはマリが勝手に。やっぱり。あの幼馴染ってこと何してたの？スワブキ、やっぱりあの子のことが好きなんでしょ。いいじゃないですか、そんなこと。僕は背だって低いし、苦いのだって苦手だし、難しいゼミの話だって。最近マリにだってバカにされるんだ。子供にはわからないって。どうして僕はナナミさんと同じ年に生まれてこなかったんだろう。早く大人になりたい。大人になって楽しいこといろいろしたいのに。バカね。大人になんてならなくていいのよ。スワブキは今のままで十分。
Uh-oh. No, my boy. No!
初等部4年 A クラス、スワブキミツルです。では、始めてください。
But this is such a realistic way of thinking, you know, for when you're that age. You like I swear, every single person that I know, including myself, when you're that age, you're like, I just can't wait to grow up, to be older, to do all of the cool stuff that I could do when I am older. And then you get an age and you're like, please take me back, man. Take me back. Because you don't realize that when you're a kid, there are things that you can get away with and that you can do only because you are a kid, right? Just in the same vein as when you're adult, you can only get away with some things that you can because you are an adult, right? So yeah, it's just one of those things where you don't realize what you have until it's gone, and those things, right? It's cute. It's very realistic the way that he's thinking about this thing. I feel like most people have experienced this kind of thing of wanting to grow up as soon as possible when you're a kid, and then kind of like regretting it.
実は、ナナミさんのことなんです。彼女はすごく綺麗で頼りになって、ずっと憧れだったんです。僕も多少こき使われようと、一緒にいられるだけで幸せでした。だけど、ただ、何か物足りないんです。ナナミさんのそばにいるだけじゃ。マリだってそうだ。幼馴染だからって最近やたらとちょっかい出してくるし。二人とも僕のことバカにしてるんだ。
She's concerned about you, and also she likes you.
大人になりたい。大人になって世界をめちゃくちゃに
Oh
してやりたい。
no.
めちゃくちゃに、めちゃくちゃに、めちゃくちゃにしてやりたい。
わかりました。あなたの進むべき道は用意してあります。
つわぶき、なんなのこんなところに呼び出して。何黙ってて
Oh no.
なんとか言いなさい。まあ、座ってください。なんなのよ、もう。ちょっとなれなれしいわよ、つわぶき。つわぶき
Two.
これで僕は大人になる。
Whoa. Whoa.
雨って
Two
私が
swords.
傘持ってきてると止むのよね。天気予報くらい見た方がいいよ。私ね、今日ね、初めてだったの。何？お前は父ちゃんに黙って。どこでだい？車の中だそうです。なんだとべらぼうめ。まああなた、ドキドキしちゃったけど、後悔はしてないわ。初めてなのによく決心されましたね。そりゃまあ勇気はいったけど、大人になった証と思えば辛くないし、帰りにジュースとかもらえちゃうし。何の話じゃ？献血に決まってんじゃん。献血は16歳から大人の証。
Yeah, I mean, being an adult is many different experiences. A combination of many of them. It's not a one thing.
ちバラの花嫁にしよう。つわぶきくん、まさか僕を呼び出した。
So is the shorter sword supposed to be the the childhood friend?
ここが決闘場だということを忘れてるんじゃないでしょうね。すでに戦いは始まっているんですよ。やっぱり同じです。今までの方たちと。じゃあ、つわぶきくんもいつもの彼じゃありません。ユメミア！気高き城のバラ。私に眠るディオスの力よ。主に応えて今こそ示せ。世界を革命する力を。つわぶきくん、目を覚ませ。僕と君が戦う理由なんてないはずだ。僕は大人になるんだ。経験を積むだけでは大人になれない。経験を積んだ大人を倒してこそ子供は大人になる。誰にそんなことを。
Yeah, now he's being misled. Let's see. Is this enough? Ooh. The younger one is still going. He's pretty good. He's lasting a long time. Oh. He put up a pretty good fight. Revolution. The opening OST.
熱くなるわね。
Okay, Nanami. I see. Okay. So, okay. Wow, interesting episode. Very oh, oops. So I think the two swords, I was thinking about it. I was thinking about it, but I didn't want to pause during the fight. At first I said, are the two swords supposed to be one for Nanami and one for the other girl? But I think they're supposed to be kind of like just kind of like a representation of a kid and an adult, right? Being there. So I think that's what the two swords were supposed to represent. One being kind of like a grown-up and one being a kid. But interesting, obviously, episode here dealing with the entire thing of, you know, wanting to be a grown-up and stuff like that, wanting to grow up. What does it mean to be a grown-up? And obviously, I feel like everyone has a different definition of it, so I don't want to get too into it. I feel like when you're younger, a lot of like the feelings of I want to be a grown-up and what does it mean to be a grown-up is oftentimes associated with, you know, growing up in a sense of like having experiences like, you know, like they talked about here, having your first time and things like this would often attributed to being a grown-up. But I feel like the more you grow up, the older you get, the closer that you get to that entire breaking point that most would consider being a grown-up, the less people start thinking of that as a grown-up and more they start thinking about it in a sense of like responsibilities and stuff like that, and your position in, you know, are you working? Are you like, where are you when it comes to your working status and stuff like that? So yeah, it's interesting. Just something that I was thinking about, because I feel like oftentimes, even here, oftentimes when they're talking about being a grown-up, they talk about it more or less like there's always a conversation of, you know, you need to have your first time to be a grown-up, but or that's when you become a grown-up. But I think that is something that's not true in the slightest for most people. Either way, doesn't matter. It's just something that I was thinking about during the episode. Yeah, either way. A really cool episode though. Yeah, I wonder I hope we get to see more of Tsuwabuki. I want to see what, like, how all his relationships pan out, because I am interested in how he's gonna end up developing, and stuff like that, how he's gonna end up maturing as the show goes on. And also that entire Nanami look that she gave him was interesting, I guess. I'm not gonna speculate too much onto that, but maybe if we're trying to find some kind of like good point in the entire thing, is maybe it's gonna help her, you know, with the entire, I guess, her entire thing with her brother, right? She's been not dealing the best with her brother being gone, so maybe that's gonna be one of those things that's gonna be able to, you know, kind of like put her mind at ease, or kind of help her escape from the mindset of like, is my brother okay? Like, what's gonna happen with him, and all of those things that she's been thinking about, right? So yeah, interesting episode though. Really cool one. So yeah, also Tsuwabuki did put up a bit more of a fight. I'll take that as his ambition and his goal being a bit more well-defined and stuff like that. Also, he did say, I'm gonna defeat, or I'm gonna kill the Rose Bride, but I guess that's just even though it wasn't necessarily linked to his actual goal, but I guess, as I said, this was kind of like an idea planted into his head by the Black Rose Society, so that's fine. But yeah, he put up a good fight, but not enough, obviously. No one has really come close to being actually like dangerous for Utena. So I wonder if there is going to be anyone soon who will do that. I guess we'll find out. For now, I'm gonna wrap it up here. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.